All right, here we are. Prop the mic. PTM coming to you again live, both of us in the lovely state of New York. We got, what's today's date? July 27th, 2023. Nice 2-game slate. What's going on, Dave?
Life is good. You've been in New York, but we haven't actually hung out yet. But we do have a big plan coming up next week. We're going to head to the Connecticut Sun game at Mohegan Sun, and we're going to have some fun there. So if anybody who watches is going to be in Mohegan Sun that day, let us know. It'd be great to meet up.
Yeah, a nice Sun versus the Lynx. Be a fun game. Hit up the casino floor after the game, maybe a little bit. Chat it. Maybe we can meet some of the players. That would be fun.
No, they get the hell out of there as soon as the game's over. I'm sure.
Be able to hang out with Bonner and Thomas.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Maybe Brianna Jones because she's all right. She's not playing right now.
It's like a good hang.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So last night the Lynx and the Mystics played. That was kind of fun because both those teams are battling for kind of the last couple seeds. The Mystics, I give them credit. They're like playing with half a team right now, and they tend to compete. But the Lynx, the A-Rod Lynx were too much for them. It was kind of cool listening to A-Rod talk during the game, though. He was like, I think there's a lot of good momentum around the WNBA. I think it's cool to see some of the figures from other sports coming in and supporting it, like Dwayne Wade and such. So I think it'll be cool. But anyway, the only note from that game, Jessica Shepard's back. She only played 13 minutes, but she put up 8 points and 3 rebounds. So watch out there. You and I have to jump on a Jessica Shepard play, I would say, in the next couple games, because I think we're going to get some good value there. Yeah, I think so. I think we'll have to be a little bit wait and see with defensively. I think she changes things for Minnesota slightly. Yeah. So we'll have to, whoever their opponents are, we'll have to do a little extra digging there. But good to see her back. And we'll see her next week. Yeah, exactly. All right. So today we got 2 games. We got a kind of a semi-day game at 3:30 p.m. Start time. That's the Fever and the Sparks. And then we got a 7 p.m. Dream at the Liberty. So excited for both of these games. You ready to dive into the day game first? Let's do it. All right. So Fever at Sparks. Sparks are -3 at home. Totals 162 on this game. Fever are 6-17 on the season. Sparks are 8-15. So neither of these teams are particularly good. Sparks, like we said on the Futures show, probably has a decent shot of making the playoffs. They're still hanging on, I think, that 9th seed right now. Yeah. Is worth noting these two teams just played a couple days ago. Tuesday, yep. Sparks won that game 79-78. Kelsey Mitchell had 19 points, 4 assists. It's interesting that I said assists. Maybe I'll be going back to that in a second. And NECA had 30 points and 8 rebounds, so she had a dominant performance. The whole team scored 79 points, and she had 30 of them. So pretty cool. So what are your feelings on, you get these back-to-back games, right? A lot of times, in the NBA they do home and home, NHL's home, and a lot of times these back-to-backs they'll just stay in the same location, right? I don't know. Was the game on Tuesday? It was also in LA, right? Yeah, they're staying in the same location. I think in the WNBA they try to minimize travel, as much as possible. So they don't. The Lynx next week when we're going to see them, they're playing two games in a row in Connecticut. So I think that that does that makes the first game probably a decent data point for the second game. So that's my question is I feel like I run into this a lot where you have either a good matchup or a bad matchup, right? And this team's playing game 1, and the opposite of what you think should happen happened. Yeah. Where do you go in the second game? Do you then hammer that matchup even more? You're like, this is not going to happen 2 games in a row, or are you like, I'm going to step back and I don't know. Just what's your thoughts on something like that? I think you play the matchups. I think so, right? Yeah, I think so. And I think in general, if you have more data points, if the team's played, 2 or 3 times before that game, and that supports the matchup, then you definitely go with the matchup. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, in this situation, this is the first time. This is only the second game. Yeah. They played for the first time the other night, so you don't have a lot of data here to go off of. But anyway, so. I guess the only other note is the Fever are 11th in pace, so slow team, not surprising. And the Sparks are number 6 in pace. So this is going to be a fairly slow game, but it should be competitive because neither of these teams are really that great. So yeah, and what do we have? We had only 2.5 point spread, 160, a little low, but it's low scoring. But all right, anyway.
Matchups.
Yeah, what do you like?
All right. We've been pointing this out for a while. Guards against Indiana are just crushing. Number one scoring option at the guard position, 16.6 points per game over the last 6 weeks. Number two in 3-point attempts at over 5 3-point attempts per game. Not sure exactly the status of Lexi Brown. Didn't have a great game last game. I don't see any props out for her. So maybe, I don't know, coming off of injury. Not sure exactly, but Jordan Canada would be your other option here and you're at the guard spot. And then on the Indiana side, going up against LA defensively, forwards, great matchup. Number 3 scoring matchup, 17 points per game. Number 1 in 3-point attempts from the forward position. So it's a little bit tricky. They don't, if you want to look at Leah Boston as a forward, I don't know. She's kind of more of a center, so I'm not sure about this play here. And then, but Indiana does have 2 strong guards in Mitchell and Wheeler. But that's a fade-worthy spot here for guards, 10th in scoring over the last 6 weeks at 13.2 points per game. Although this is why I just brought up that question I posed to you. Not a good matchup for both of them. But the last game when they played on Tuesday, Mitchell had 19, Wheeler had 15. They both crushed their lines by a lot. So what is that? Does that tell you anything tonight? Does that lead you anywhere tonight, or are you just staying away?
I didn't play anybody on the. Actually, I had one lean on the Indy side.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Kelsey Mitchell's tough, right? Especially on the road. We've talked about that throughout the entire WNBA season. But they're depleted, that team, right? They don't have a lot of scoring options. And Aaliyah Boston, like we said last show, seems to kind of be up and down, right? She had a pretty bad game last game. I would think she'd probably bounce back a bit, take some points away from Mitchell. But who knows? Indy's hard to predict. And Lexi Brown, to answer your other question, Lexi Brown is out today. So I don't know what exactly happened. She only played 24 minutes.
Yeah.
So we kind of got a little screwed by that.
Because she had played, I think, 33 the game before. So she must have tweaked something.
So she must be dealing with something still. So anyway, so that only favors Canada even more for today.
You were on her too.
Yeah. What do you like? What do you like for Canada?
I think I like the points, 14.5 points, minus 106. Nice odds. Not a lot of historical, not a lot of trends to go off of here. She's kind of been up and down. I like the fact now her usage will be up with Lexi not playing, and she had 20 in the game on Tuesday night against the Fever. So that's it. Number 1 scoring option by far. The number 2 is New York. We'll get to in a second, but this is a matchup that I want to go back to here.
Yeah, she had 20 points and 10 assists in that game. So she, between her and NECA, they were basically the entire offense, right? They accounted for 50 points of their 79 points. So I like her. I wanted to, because it's a low scoring game, I wanted to take advantage of the same game parlays on DraftKings. So what I did was I went Jordan Canada 5 assists, which is just like one of the best plays you can play. So look at that for any Sparks game as kind of the first leg of a same game parlay, because she's 18 for 21 this season on 5 assists, right?
Wow. Okay.
So that's an 86% hit rate. You don't really see a lot of 86% hit rates.
No.
And the value on it was pretty decent. I think it was around minus 200 or something like that by itself.
That's beautiful.
And I paired that with Canada 12 points, which she's 13 for 21 this season. So you put that together, you get minus 120. I thought that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But then I looked at, kind of opened up my mind a little bit and said, all right, who's the real scoring option for the Sparks? That's NECA.
Yeah.
I like NECA 18 points, which she's done in 73% of the games this season.
Mm-hmm.
Pair that with Jordan Canada, 5 assists, right? 86% of the games this season. You put those two together, the implied odds on that should be minus 169.
Yeah.
But you can get that for minus 110 on DraftKings. So
pretty good.
That's what I went with on this game. Is kind of like a 2-player, same game parlay. Jordan Canada, 5 assists. NECA Owumake, 18 points, minus 110.
I like that. Very nice. Got to take advantage. DK's letting us do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely.
You can. They don't let you do threes, right? That's not an
option.
No,
no threes, no steals, no blocks, none of that stuff. They don't even offer threes straight up. I think FanDuel is the only one of the two that offers that up. So,
all right.
So I think that's good. I also think Canada. I think it was at FanDuel. You can get Canada for 5.5 assists in games where she's played 35 plus minutes. She's had 8 assists, 5 assists, 9, 8, and 10. So you could even consider doing like an 8 assist play on her tonight for some good value, especially since she's coming off of a game where she had 10 assists, right?
You're calling for a ladder. I like it.
Yeah, maybe a little Canada ladder. So I think out of all the players here, I think Jordan Canada is probably the best value tonight.
Yeah, she's popping big time. Yeah.
So going back to Indy, did you have any official plays, or you just?
No, it was more just a lean. I feel like it's probably a good fade on Mitchell and Wheeler. I feel like the fact that it's not a good matchup and they both cleared in the last game, I just feel like, LA will make some adjustments. They've been on the road now for, especially for Mitchell, multiple days in a row, though it is lovely in Los Angeles this time of year. But I think it's a Boston game probably, and I think they probably dip a bit, but I don't have no official play.
Yeah, the one I had, again, this is more of a lean, but I just like the trend. Kelsey Mitchell assists, 3.5 assists available on FanDuel. Super low number.
Yeah.
She's not really known for assisting, but she plays good minutes, and obviously she's not going to do more than 25% of the scoring. So 75% of the scoring is going to go to other people. 7 out of her last 10 and 5 out of her last 5. She lands right on 4 assists very often. So play this one. Especially if you're not going to watch the game. But I thought that was kind of an interesting trend. She's had a really good hit right there.
Yeah, I like that. All right. A little sneaky.
Okay. All right. And who are you picking in this game?
Who am I picking in this game? I like LA. Here.
Yeah.
I think they're ready for a little run here, second half run here, I think. And I think seems like Boston's hitting a little bit of a rookie wall, I think, a little bit. And and they just don't have the firepower.
No. With Melissa Smith out, they're kind of lacking a little bit in the front court now.
Yeah.
Which is why I like that NECA play as well, even more.
You're probably right.
All right, cool. So let's go on to the second game, 7 p.m. Eastern time game. We got the Dream at the Liberty.
Right.
Two of the better teams in the league.
Yeah.
Liberty are giving up 9 points at home. Total is 173. So lots of scoring, big spread. Dreamer 13 and 10. So I think, what was our futures on them? Was it they had to win 20 and a half?
Yep.
So here we are 4 games in, and they've already cleared 3 of them. So
yeah.
I think they're well on their way to clearing that futures, and they look pretty good. They are number 1 in pace in the league, and they have the second most turnovers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
New York is number 5 in pace, and they have the 4th most turnovers in the league. So both of these teams, I went to the Liberty game on what was it, Tuesday night?
Yeah.
The Liberty just are horrendous in handling the ball. They just try to do too much with the ball. They try to do backdoor passes that they don't need to do.
Yeah.
I think the Dream are the same way. They just super fast, turn over the ball a lot. So I think that's going to lead to a lot of fast break points, a lot of scoring in this game. Like I said, these teams played 3 times already. Liberty won 106-83. So you're talking about 189 points in that one.
Mm-hmm.
The second game, the Dream won 86-79. So that was the lowest scoring. And the third game, the Liberty won 110-80. So they won by 30 points. So that's why the spread is -9. But the away team has won in every game. So
interesting.
I feel like to start, I would take the Dream plus 9 points. The Liberty did not look good the other day.
I'm glad you brought it up. I was also going to mention that as well. I thought that was a lot of value there on the Dream here. I like the Dream with the points in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. So that's good. And I'd probably take the over 173 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 189 points and 190 points in 2 of the 3 games.
Seems like a good play.
All right, so getting back to the props, what do you like in terms of matchups?
All right, we've been on this. Forwards against Atlanta is an excellent matchup here. Number 2 in scoring, number 1 in assists. So you can look at Stewart. You could look at Jones. More of a center, but center's also they're number 2 in scoring at forward. They're also number 2 in scoring at center. So we already posted up a Jones play, and I think that the matchup's just screaming out here. And she's been playing great lately. And what do you look at Laney more like a forward or a guard? Like a guard, right?
You know what? I actually was looking at that this morning. She's classified as a guard, but
It's
first
like a
of all,
wing, right?
when you look at the team, she, you got Vandersloot and Ionescu. Those are your
point
1
guard,
and 2
shooting guard,
guards, right? So she really slots into the 3, which could
Yeah.
be a flex between a guard and a forward. But her game is kind of both. Like she does a lot of shooting from outside when she's open, but she also backs in players a lot and tries to go down low as well. So I kind of look at her as a hybrid. I think you can classify her as either. If I were to say one or the other, I would actually put her more as a forward. She plays, within this team, she plays the 3. So I like that.
So I like looking at her that way as well. So I think this is a nice matchup for her here. If you look at her as a forward, because the reason I want to talk about this the classification here is on the other end, guards dead last in scoring against the Dream over the last 6 weeks, less than 12 points a game. So I think this is a possible spot where we could look to fade Sabrina or Vandersloot possibly. And then I already mentioned centers, great matchup as well against the Dream. Against the Liberty, it's kind of the opposite. So forwards want to stay away from, dead last in scoring, dead last in rebounding. So it's Coffey and Parker. Can look at fades on those. And other end of the coin, let's play some guards against the Liberty here. Number 2 in scoring, number 2 in 3-point attempts. So Howard and Gray are who we can look at there. And then centers against New York have also been pretty good. Number 4 overall in scoring, number 1 rebounding option. But don't really have Atlanta doesn't really, I guess, have a center we can look at here. So all that being said, you have anything else to add matchup wise? You want to get some picks out?
No, I was just looking whether or not, I mean, Parker's kind of the center on that team. She's classified as a forward, and her game is kind of like a forward, but she does play down low. But she is starting again. It looks like. I don't know what happened.
That was the other day, right?
Yeah, that was crazy, man. We were all excited about putting out the pick, and then she comes off the bench at the end of the first quarter or something. But she's still cleared.
Cashes in the third. That was
amazing. She cashed easily, so that was great. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think we're good to put out some picks.
Right.
What do you like?
All right, so getting back to Laney, I like her over 10.5 points here, minus 128 on FanDuel. She's done it in 2 of her last 3 against Atlanta, including her last 2. So the first game of the season, she had 9, but then the last 2 games, she had 17 and 19. Yeah. So seems like, that's a nice upward trend in a nice matchup. She's also cleared this in 6 of her last 8 at home. Just like she's been playing awesome. I feel like, the field goal attempts, very consistent. And seems to have a nice matchup here against Atlanta. So let's go back to Laney here, over 10.5 points.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, classified her as a guard initially. It's not really that great of a play, but sometimes you also need to just look at the hot player, and she's on fire. I mean, she scored 10 points in 8 of her last 10 games. This line is 10. What'd you have, 10.5 or 11.5?
I had a 10.5. 10.5,
yeah. But if you just think about the Liberty, right? You've got Jones and Stewart are the bigs, and you got Vandersloot and Ionescu at the guards, right? That's a lot for a team to handle those 4 players.
Yeah,
I think Laney sometimes ends up being open because they got 4
all the
really
attention. She's the last one to get the attention, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and her game, like I said, is dynamic. She's good from the outside. She can back down players. So I like the spot. I think 10.5 points is a steal.
Yeah, seems like a nice one. Yeah, especially when she 19 in the last game. We can get it at almost half that right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, maybe a little ladder there too.
Now we're talking.
You want me to just recap Jonquel Jones real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so we put up this pick on Twitter earlier this morning, but Jonquel Jones 11.5 points. That's on DraftKings at minus 125. FanDuel had it at 12.5. I think PrizePicks had it at 12.5. So we tried to get it out early this morning just to make sure you got it before it went up, because I'm pretty sure it's on the rise on DraftKings. Yeah. She's only got a 50% hit rate for the season. So on the surface, it looks like not that great of a play, but she's just on fire lately. 4 of her last 5, she's crushed this. 10 of her last 14, she's cleared this, got 12 points. And two of her 3 matchups against Atlanta, she's cleared. She had 18 points, 12 points, and 11 points. But she played a max of 24 minutes in those games. Right? Her last couple games, she's playing almost 30 minutes since the All-Star break. So increased minutes, great matchup, MVP, former MVP. She's the X factor for the Liberty. If she starts playing like she used to play, getting 30 minutes a game, they're going to be hard to beat. They just need to take care of the ball a little bit better, I think, is their problem right now.
Yeah. It was weird seeing her, at the beginning of the season. There's so many questions like, why is she playing so few minutes? But it's this is what they had intended, I think. And now I think you're going to start seeing the Liberty really, not that they're not dominating, but really start to dominate here.
Yeah, she's a force. All right, you got anybody else on the Liberty side?
No, not on the Liberty.
All right, what do you got for the Dream?
All right. I like avoiding the forwards against New York. Coffey's line's so low. It's not even available on FanDuel. I think that's a prize pick only.
6.5. We can't do that. I think we did that for remember we did the Duncan Robinson under
yes.
Under what was it, 10.5 par or something once. I said we'll never do that again. So all right. So what do you?
So Parker, I think Parker under 12.5 points. It's plus 100 on FanDuel. She's only done it in 1 of 3 games against New York, and the only game she cleared, she had 13, so she just made it. She had 12 and 6 in the other 2 games. Her minutes, you said she's starting again, but her minutes are down since the All-Star. In the 4 games since the All-Star break, 18, 28 was the most she played, but then 17 and 13. So her minutes are are trending down in a terrible matchup. Big New York front court. I think they stop her, hold her under 13 points.
Yeah, last game was weird. I guess they played. Who did they play in the last game? I'm trying to remember. They played Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a relatively close game, but yeah, she only played 18 minutes, and even Howard played like 24 minutes or something like that. So I don't know, something was up there. I think the coach went to the bench probably to spark the team or something like that. But this is a little scary, this one, just because
it's kind of low. Yeah.
If you look at her performance on the road, right?
Yeah, I know.
Right, she's cleared this in 7 of her last 8 games on the road. So that's the one thing that scares me. But she's not blowing it out of the water. 14 points, 15 points in most of those. So this is purely a matchup play. And like you said, last time she played in New York, she played 37 minutes, only scored 6 points. So
there you go.
So I think that's probably the right play there.
Yeah. And it seems like the minutes should be, I know she played 28 in that one, but I mean, she's been under 20 by quite a bit in the other 3 games since the All-Star break. So not sure exactly what's going on there in Atlanta. But
and then you said guards versus New York. You got anybody there?
Yeah, I like Howard. She's one of my favorites. Like the game, I like over 18.5 points. It's minus 108. So I like this. Like I said, guards number 2 scoring option or scoring matchup over the last 6 weeks. 16.5 points per game. The guard position also number 2 in 3-point attempts at 5.1. She's like, you just lock her in for 9 threes a game at least. Like she jacks them up. So I like that matchup, that aspect of the matchup here. Whereas Gray is up and down. She, 1 3, 4 threes. Howard gets her 8, 9, 10 threes every single game. And I think that bodes well for this matchup against the Liberty.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just looking at. I do like that, and just watching Jewel Lloyd just totally torch Liberty from 3. Does seem like Liberty has like these big defensive lapses where they just give up like shots they shouldn't give up.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that. I don't know why she played so little minutes last game, but we'll just write that one off as a game against the
Mercury.
The Mercury.
Yeah.
What I do like about Alicia Gray is her consistency against New York. 17, 16, 17 in the 3 games. 30 minutes in all those games. She does have a game, kind of like a blow-by game that is good against the Liberty. So I didn't look at this until now, but I am going to look potentially at like a same-game parlay on her, maybe for something like 15 points and 4 rebounds or something like that, because she's cleared that in all 3 games against the Liberty.
Gray has.
Yeah, Gray.
Rebounds, huh?
Yeah, she collects.
Yeah, she does get to 4 or 5 quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in her last 10, she's had 4 rebounds in 8 of her last 10 games. So she collects the rebounds, and so I don't know what those odds are, but I'm liking something like 15 points, 4 rebounds for her, something like that.
Nice. All right. Cool. I think they could both have solid games here. I think I think the scoring will come from the Atlanta backcourt here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Anything else in this one?
No, I think that's it.
Nice.
So we'll get another pick or 2 up on Twitter and lock these bets in, and let's make some money tonight.